Hello, I'm Mike Cashman, author, satirist. I'm making this video for people who are inclined to tell Tory supporters and Brexit supporters, I told you so. Now, I may be tempted to say that as well sometimes, I may say it, but there are better things than that to say to such people. Some folk do say to me, yeah, but how do you convince a committed Brexit supporter, a committed Tory supporter? I've tried and they just won't listen to reason. My answer to how do you convince them may very well be, well, probably you don't. In the documentary, The Uncivil War, then the Dominic Cummings character drew a big circle and divided it into three. Let's try and reproduce this here with some old tech flip chart. So he said, there are the committed opponents. We'll never convince them. Forget them. There are committed supporters. We've got them in the bag. We don't have to worry too much about them. But there are the people in the middle. I've represented them here by white stickers because they're not very visible, but they're there. That's our target. Now, we're in a rather similar situation now. The people who are active on social media are the people with strong views, and we may never convince them. The people who we need to convince have probably got fed up with this, didn't want to hear about Brexit anymore, slightly found the message get Brexit done slightly attractive, but aren't talking about it. But they are on the buses, in the supermarkets, they will be in the pubs, they are in our friends and family in many cases. That's the target. Forget about those who are so active on social media. And I think we can move beyond I told you so. And by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a story, true story, about how by moving beyond I told you so, I earn myself several £1,000s. I'm not saying it's something that you can do in the same way, but it is a true story and it is relevant in my view. It is about moving on from I told you so. I've been to some webinars lately where some of the leading lights in the pro-European world have said, let's not argue about Brexit. Let's not argue about rejoining the European Union in 2021. And I can see their point. And indeed, I wrote a book with that in mind. I don't beg pardon. I'll come to that. So I had written some earlier satirical books. Brexit's a trick, not a treat. If you hope for a Brexit that's sweet as a cake you can have and can eat, do you now realise the extent of the lies and that Brexit's a trick, not a treat? And many others, 60 other songs, starting with Brexitian fantasy, leading up to David Cameron's I Dreamed a Dream, which led to the full Brexit musical, using every major tune from Les Miserables, with Camerine, Teroline, Boris Valboris, Gauvert, Faragier, Corbosch and the rest. And we got some seriously good singers, actually, to record this. Leon Berger, English National Opera, Zena Wigram, the soprano, John Asher of Tiswas. And while you may hear there are some members of my family singing on there, take the recommendation from Ben Chambers of Embrace Music, 16 Million Rising, who recorded these singers one at a time, who said, you've got some seriously good singers in your family, Mike, as you'll hear when you, if you listen to Stay in Your House or Flat, Men in Black parody. That's in the next one, actually. So, yes, the next book. I don't beg pardon, because I'd spotted that people were going to be fed up with Brexit. But we needed to raise doubts in their mind about this Tory government. So full title, I don't beg pardon, I'm talking bollocks from the Rose Garden, as indeed it was, and songs in here, which, as I say, we've also recorded, bear that out. So there's plenty in here to raise questions about the handling of COVID, the Ballad of Dom and Bojo, Stay in Your House or Flat, Man Up, Mask Up, Stand By Your Dom, the title track, I don't beg pardon. And it's very largely about COVID. Sunday Times called it Coronavirus the Musical. So we have labelled it the 5-act COVID musical. Brexit gets a little mention. Britannia waives the rules. Portaloo Brexit, Kent Convoy. But it's not, that is not the main focus of it. And the point about these things, oh, and that's on CD as well, by the way, some of the same singers and some more wonderful guest stars, Bob Marley impersonator for Man Up, Mask Up, Protect Another Life. So this is very much aimed on COVID. Both of the CDs, you can also get them on USB. Now, point about this is these were always intended as campaigning tools. When we were able to, I was, as they say, out on the street in London, just showing these books to Brexit supporters and Remain supporters, you know, to whoever I encountered. And both groups, they opened them up at a random page, would typically laugh out loud. So the material is useful and effective. And this particular one can be used where you don't want to necessarily talk strongly about Brexit. Let me be open about this. I'm self-publisher. These are intended to make an effect in the campaign, but hundreds of you more need to buy them. I know loads of you have looked at the stuff online, have enjoyed it, and have you know, seen what you can see bits of and listen to for free, and have gone on to then do something else. And I would probably do exactly the same thing. But look, I need you to buy the books or the CDs and the USBs, and things that you can do with them that can help the cause is, you know, even in your own house, leave them on the coffee table, or, you know, by the bog, if you leave reading matter there for your visitors. But give them to your friends, give them to people who support the cause. If you want to boost their morale, that's, you know, one of the one has to recognise one of the primary impacts of satire is to boost morale on one's own side. Nothing wrong with that. But give them to your pro-Brexit, to your Tory friends. And if you don't want to talk about Brexit, start with I don't beg pardon. The mass of people who opposed Dominic Cummings was considerable, and included many Tory MPs, actually. So there's stuff in there to laugh at. Bit of lockdown Shakespeare as well. How would Shakespeare plays be if they were performed under lockdown conditions? So, you know, it's a present that you can give to somebody that you don't agree with. And maybe that could spark a discussion where discussions have previously been closed. I do need you to buy some of these, because there's no point putting them together unless we get significantly more sales than we have done so far. I'll be quite open about this. We have done a little package where called Sovereignty, where you can get the whole lot. So this is Sovereignty 00. So that's 3 books and 2 CDs for £48.52. Or there's Sovereignty II, where for £52.48 you get the 3 books and the 2 USBs. Anyway, I promised you the true story, and this is 25 years ago. I was working for a database software company, and we're a tough gig because we were selling database management software to organisations. We're competing against the big IBM, for example, and this wasn't generally my role, but I took a particular tour of duty where I took on an assignment to try and sell our database management software to organisations that had opted for a different product previously. And organisations at that time tended to have one mainframe computer database management system. What I quickly learned was that what didn't work was to say, you know, that decision you made, that product you bought a few years ago, that was a bad decision. The product was rubbish. You shouldn't have got it. Ours is much better. What was more effective was to say, so the decision that you made a few years ago, it's understandable in view of the information and the circumstances that you had at the time. Let's look at the situation now, because things have moved on to some extent. Let's look at the position that you're now in and see what would be best for you in this current situation. Now, I succeeded over target in that role. For example, Nissan UK, the UK distributor, anticipating the new Nissan factory coming at Sunderland that would be producing, or that would be ramping up, actually, it was already there, but would be ramping up to hundreds of thousands of cars a year, switched from their previous database management system to the one that I was selling. I made a few £1,000s in commission, so this approach did really work. And for the people that we're talking to now, we don't want to humiliate them. We don't want to make them feel foolish. If we say, you were fooled, you were lied to, we're dismissing their intellect. We don't want that. We want them to make good decisions, so let's honour their intellect. I have no need to say to anybody, you were fooled, you didn't know what you were voting for. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. It doesn't matter. The point is that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm quite ready to respect their intellect and to say that what we need you to do now, or what would be sensible to do now, sorry, in my mind it's what we need you to do now, but in talking to them, what would be a sensible decision to make now, looking at the situation we now find ourselves in. So let's see if we can lessen their commitment to the Tory cause, which in many people is proving to be quite persistent, but where conversations have hardened or stopped or communications broken down, then a bit of laughter can open it up again. Send one of these as a present to your friends. Thousands of you have looked at the stuff that I've provided, have enjoyed it for free. That's fair enough. That's the sort of thing that I would do as well. Read the bits that I've put online or heard some of the songs online. But if you want this to be sustained, certainly if you want any more of it, then some of the thousands of you that have enjoyed it for free, I need you to actually buy some of the stuff. But there's an additional reason which could benefit the political cause from buying some of this stuff soon. Whether you buy it as the entire package, this is Sovereignty 00, so you get your empty box of Sovereignty, but also the 3 books and 2 CDs, or indeed there's the II version in which you cut the same 3 books, you get your box of Sovereignty, but the music is on USB with some bonus tracks. Same 3 books, as I say. Here's the additional reason. Just imagine that at every Heifers, Blackwells, Foyles, Waterstones, you've got these books by the till. It is the sort of book that they like to have piles of by the till. It's very eye-catching, it's topical, affordable, £5.95, £6.95, £7.95. I've had contacts with the bookshops. So the books are on the Foyles, Waterstones website, for example, but what really counts is getting them into the shops. And to do that, we need more sales than we've got at the moment online. They need to see online sales. Now, as I say, I wouldn't ask you to do this just as a sacrifice, but I think they're all very good value. Now, some people have said to me occasionally, Mike, are you just trying to profiteer out of the Tories mess up with coronavirus or out of Brexit? No, all of the profits from sales of this stuff go to coronavirus charities. The moment we're contributing to Disasters Emergency Committee, I've worked on DEC projects in Kenya, Ethiopia, Sierra Leone for Ebola eradication, Nepal for rebuilding after the earthquake. I know that the money's used effectively there. So I'm not taking anything from this, but if we can get significantly increased online sales, then just imagine if these books were by the till at all of those bookshops. Now that is possible, but we need a few hundred of you to buy them, and then that could make a difference. And as I say, then many more people might buy them and be influenced by them, but millions of people would see them by the till. Just imagine what difference that would make. So you can help to make that happen, but please do it soon, because then that makes it possible for the in order for bookshops to make some decisions about stocking them for the summer. Buy them yourselves, give them to your friends, see if they can start discussions. Thank you.